Hello, friends, and welcome to My Crazy Life. My name is Andrea, and you haven't been with us yet. I am just sharing my life and being transparent about some of the things that are going on in my life, with hopes that somebody can be encouraged by my story and may get help or clarity in a situation that they're in. Also, if you have something that you would like me to pray for, or you would like a topic for me to speak on, please comment that below. If you're liking this content, please be sure that you like my videos. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification button so that you don't miss any uploads. All right, let's get started. So I was reading in my comments today, and somebody commented a couple of days ago that they would like to know what are age-appropriate chores, responsibilities. So there are all kinds of things out there on the internet regarding age appropriate responsibilities, and I did pull something up today and looked at it because I haven't looked at it for years, and because I look at my children and we try different things and determine what is age appropriate. Because as a foster parent, I have children that come in and they might be 5, but they've never done anything for themselves, including lifting the spoon to their mouth. And so their level of ability to be responsible varies based on their experience and what they've already been taught. So, that being said, this lists are a good base for what kids can be responsible for. But if you have a 10-year-old and you haven't taught them yet how to make their bed, then they aren't able to be responsible for making their bed. So, the first person that's responsible in helping your kids be responsible in that age appropriate way is you. So if you have a 2 or 3-year-old, then you have a baby and you're just starting out and you're thinking about this, our 2 or 3-year-old is able to make their bed at a certain level. It's not going to look perfect, but they can put their pillow at the top and they can pull their sheets and blankets up every morning when they get up. They can put their clothes in the laundry hamper. The list says they can put things in the dishwasher. I'm not so sure about that. That's not my comfort level on whether they should be able to do that, or 2 or 3 or not. And you might feel differently about that. So some of these items are going to be personal items that say, oh, I don't want my kids to do that. Or you might say, oh, my kid was doing that way earlier, and that's okay too. So because we have to decide what time that we have to invest in teaching our kids these things, and then we have to consistently teach them how to do them. So other things that a 2 or 3-year-old can do, they can scoop food and feed the pets. If you have a scoop in there, they can scoop the food to feed the dog or the cat. They can put socks on their hands, and they can dust. They can start learning how to dust at 2 and 3. Now, are they really responsible enough to do those things without you checking and knowing that they're done? No, that's not what we're saying. So at 2 and 3, these are the things that they should be learning how to do, and working towards you not having to worry about that. So you can say, go make your bed. And if they said they made their bed, then you know what level that they're making their bed. Are they responsible enough that you can say, you're supposed to make your bed every day, and that's just that? No, probably at 2 and 3, that is too much for them to have that responsibility on their own to remember that's what they're supposed to do. There might be some kids who can do that, but I'm going to say the majority of 2-year-olds are not going to remember to get up and make their bed every day. So let's be sure that we're clear here that these are chores that they should be able to do. You have to teach them, and then over time they become responsible enough to make those a part of their daily routine without so much follow-up from you. Okay, so moving on. Putting laundry in the laundry hamper, we talked about. They can wipe up their own mess. They can start learning how to get a towel or a paper towel and wipe up their own spills and their own messes. All right, if we move on to age 4 and 5, and many of my friends have 4 and 5-year-olds, there are things that they can do that step up from there a little bit. So my son helps to clear the table. He also helps to set the table. He does not do it all on his own. I do not. We have heavy lead crystal plates. I don't have him put the plates on the table, but I will say to him, go get 4 knives. Go get 5 spoons and go get 5 forks and bring them to the table. And so then he can bring them to the table, and we're learning about place settings, but we are not there yet. But he can help set the table by bringing the things that are appropriate for him to bring to the table. And that helps him practice his counting and, simple things like that. At some point you can say, hey, how many people are we having for dinner? Can you go get knives, forks, and spoons for all the people? And you can begin to grow that responsibility as they learn each step of the way. They should be able to take a small watering can and water any plants that you have. They should be able to, alongside of you, be able to pull weeds. Some people say that kids at that age should be able to wash dishes at the sink. I don't have mine do that. I mean, I have teenagers who can't wash dishes at the sink. I don't think it's that they can't, but they don't. So they do help clean their own room. Pick up your own toys. Put the Legos in the Lego bin. So especially if you have all their toys organized, the action figures go in the action figure bin. That's pretty simple. The stuffed animals go in the stuffed animal bin. The pillows go on the bed. All these things. You can clean your room because you know where these things go. Now, if we have our kids cleaning up their room every single day, this is something that they should be able to do at 4 and 5. If we allow it to become a big mess, that is something at 4 and 5 they cannot do on their own, because that mess is too huge and they do not know where to start, and they start off feeling defeated and frustrated. So keep that in mind. If you have your child pick up his room every night before bed, that is something that they can do. But if you wait until it's a disaster, they cannot do that alone. All right, let's see what else. Sorting laundry, they should be able to know the difference between light clothes and dark clothes and be able to make piles. Towels, sheets, knowing the difference between those things and to be able to separate those things out. They should be improving on their dusting skills. They should be able to carry small bags of groceries in for you from the car. And they should be able to help you grocery shop. All right, so then we move on to 6 to 8. At 6 to 8, they can begin to take care of pets, and they should be able to be responsible with their morning routine to be able to, or afternoon routine, to add that into their routine and be responsible for that without you having to remind them. They should be able to feed the pet. They've already learned at 4 and 5 how to scoop that food, or 2 and 3 how to scoop that food. So now by 6 to 8, they should be able to do that without your help. They should be able to vacuum and sweep. They should be able to take out the trash, provided it's not bigger than they are. They should be able to put away their own laundry. Now, some people think they should be able to fold their laundry. I'm kind of anal about my folding. My kids at 6 to 8 years old are not really able to fold their own laundry, and that they are able to put it away. So if I can get them to put it away neatly in their drawers, I consider that a win at 6 to 8. Making their own snacks. So making snacks or getting their own snack, it really just depends on what your snack is. So my kids can make their own snack. I have a snack basket with snacks in it. They can have an apple, they can have an orange, they can do toast, some basic things that they can do to make snacks. Now, if you cut the apple in wedges and you peel the apple and you're doing all these things, maybe your kids are not ready to be using those kind of tools in order to prepare their own snack. But if it's celery and peanut butter, they should be able, from at the ages of 6 to 8, to prepare their own snack. They should be able to rake leaves. They can walk the dog. They can pick up poop. All these things they should be able to do. So if you keep these chores in mind, you should be able to figure out what your child is ready for. I would say that if your child is 6 to 8 and has not been doing any chores, you're going to want to start small, because you want to set them up for success. You don't want them to feel like all of a sudden you're a big girl and you have to do all this work. Life's not all fun anymore. So I would suggest that you position it more as, Mama needs help. Like, come alongside of me. Let's do this together. So if you're going to say, have your daughter or son make their own snack, what would you like for snack today? Start with that. Talk them into something they can reasonably do and say, I'm going to make my snack. You go get your things. You make your snack next to me, and start by doing it together. Not doing it for them. And so you're doing yours separately from them.
I'm going to get my puppy.
Okay. You may hold the puppy. Oh, yeah. So one of the responsibilities that my children have is to take care of the small puppies. So Sebastian just came outside and he is ready because he ate his snack. He cleaned up from his snack and he is ready now to go and start holding those puppies and giving them some socialization. It doesn't sound like much of a chore, but when they don't really want to do it, when they really want to be doing something else, it's a good lesson for them to learn that this is something that you have to do every day, whether you want to or not, because that's what responsibility is. So we want to be sure that we are not overwhelming our children with more than they can handle. You know what that's like. I know what that's like. And we don't want to set our kids up when they're young for failure. So I would suggest starting with 2 or 3 small things, teach them how to do them well, and implement them into a daily routine. If you are not a routine person, this is going to be very difficult for your child because in order to start adding chores on, the old ones have to become more natural. So getting up and making your bed in the morning. If you don't get up and make your bed in the morning, why should they get up and make their bed in the morning? That is not reasonable for them because they're not seeing the example. Our children are going to catch more of our actions than we teach them. We would like to think that we could teach them to do things outside of what we set as the example. And while technically that sounds like reasonable, when they might do it in the home when they're in the home with you because they have to, because you're making them. But ultimately, when they move out and they're in their own home, they're going more likely to revert to what they saw than what you made them do. So keep that in mind as you're teaching your children responsibilities, that if you are not setting the example for that responsibility, you are not setting them up for success for the rest of their life. Keep that in mind. Your job as a parent is to teach and train your children for moving on in their future. Not to make your life easier, not to make your home neater, but each and everything that you decide to teach your children, from how to love the Lord, how to obey Him, how to spend time in prayer and in the Word, responsibilities, chores, how to manage relationships, all of these things that we teach them, we need to keep in mind the kind of adult we want them to be. And we need to move from their childhood into their adulthood. I think too often we just think we need to teach them this because someone else did, or this or that, and we didn't learn it, but it would be good for them, so we're going to teach it to them. Well, before we can teach it to them and make it be a lifelong thing, you need to teach it to yourself. So please, please, please understand that your children have great capacity to do great things. But you have to set the example on how to achieve those things. I hope this was helpful. I'm not sure it's exactly what the person who left the comment was looking for, but whether your child is 2 or your child is 15, the things that they are able to do are going to depend 100% on you. Now, I will backtrack just a little bit, and if you have a special needs child, obviously that is going to, their needs are going to set the ability for what they're able to be responsible for. But even special needs children, they can do more than you think they can. It will take longer for them to learn that responsibility or learn that chore, but ultimately they are capable of doing things. I have a person in my life who has a special needs daughter, and she has catered to her because she's special needs, and now she's older, and she took dinner in to her daughter the other night, and her daughter didn't want it, and she said to her, "Girl, I'm not making you something else. If you want something else, you can go get it. And much to mom's surprise, daughter got up, left the chicken nuggets right where they were, didn't take them into the kitchen, but left them, went in the kitchen, got out a pan, got something out of the freezer, cooked up her own dinner, and ate it. And she went, whoa, the party's over. This girl can do more than I give her credit for. And so keep that in mind with your special needs children. And I'm not saying push them harder than they should be pushed, but remember, they are more capable than often we give them credit for.